Though often sidelined, Hulk is one of the most vital characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with numerous behind-the-scenes facts to evidence this. The Hulk has smashed his way through the MCU timeline since its earliest days, playing a major role in some of the franchise's biggest battles. Behind the Green Rage monster lies a complex history of creative decisions, casting switches, and backstage surprises. These behind-the-scenes facts revealed just how much effort went into crafting Hulk's story arc, and why the character remains such a compelling, if sometimes chaotic, part of the MCU. The Hulk's place in the MCU has always been unique. After the less-than-stellar reception of Hulk, Marvel Studios rebooted the character in 2008's The Incredible Hulk, starring Edward Norton. However, Norton was later replaced by Mark Ruffalo, who debuted in The Avengers. Over the years, Hulk's portrayal evolved, from a mostly silent beast to the articulate, smart Hulk seen in Avengers Endgame. However, much of this transformation occurred behind the scenes, influenced by actor decisions, creative rewrites, and studio strategies. Before the Hulk spoke full sentences, his vocal outbursts in the MCU were provided by none other than Lou Ferrigno, the bodybuilder-turned-actor who famously portrayed the Green Goliath in the Incredible Hulk TV series from the 1970s and 80s. Ferrigno lent his roars and guttural vocals to the character in The Incredible Hulk, The Avengers and Avengers, Age of Ultron, providing an auditory continuity between the classic version and the modern MCU interpretation. According to the official cast lists, Ferrigno was specifically credited for the Hulk's voice in all 3 films, which was then blended with Mark Ruffalo's. Ferrigno reportedly even coached Ruffalo in how to voice the Hulk, who subsequently took over the role solely from Thor: Ragnarok. Regardless, Ferrigno's participation was a subtle nod to longtime viewers and helped bridge the gap between generations of Hulk portrayals. Surprisingly, Mark Ruffalo was actually director Louis Leterrier's original choice to play Bruce Banner in The Incredible Hulk. In an interview with the Huffington Post, Leterrier recalled how he had pushed for Ruffalo during pre-production but was overruled by Marvel, who preferred a more well-known name at the time, Edward Norton. Ruffalo didn't end up donning the lab coat until 2012's The Avengers, but his calm, grounded take on the character quickly won audiences over. Leterrier's early instincts proved accurate, as Ruffalo's version of Bruce Banner went on to become a key pillar of the MCU's Avengers lineup. The fact that Marvel nearly cast him from the beginning highlights how different The Incredible Hulk could have been, and how close Ruffalo was to shaping the character's arc from the start. It's hard not to wonder what the franchise could have looked like if Ruffalo was indeed present from the beginning. Edward Norton's involvement in The Incredible Hulk went far beyond acting. Known for his hands-on approach to filmmaking, Norton reportedly rewrote significant portions of the script himself. In an interview with Games Radar, Norton explained that he wanted a deeper exploration of Bruce Banner's psyche and the emotional toll of his condition. His contributions emphasized character development over blockbuster action, leading to creative disagreements with Marvel Studios. While the final cut retained many of Norton's ideas, the studio trimmed much of the introspective material to keep the film's pacing brisk and commercially viable. These tensions ultimately led to Norton's departure from the role, and Marvel later cited the need for a more collaborative actor going forward. Norton's rewrite remains a fascinating example of an actor influencing a major Marvel project, contrasting significantly with the success Marvel had with Robert Downey Jr.'s hands-on approach. When Tim Roth's Abomination was first revealed in The Incredible Hulk, many comic book readers noticed a major design change. The character was missing his trademark pointy ears. According to director Louis Leterrier, the decision wasn't arbitrary. It was practical and character-driven. In an archived interview with Comics 2 Film, Leterrier explained, "I swear to God, I tried so hard to make the ears work. It just looked ridiculous. It didn't look movie-ish. It looks great on the page. And these monsters, they're not dumb. This abomination design was done before the Mike Tyson/Evander Holyfield fight, and we now know that ears, in a fight, are not the best thing to have. Hulk would take the ears and just rip them off, and that's the end of the movie, you know. Some viewers were disappointed by the deviation from the comics. However, the change reflected the gritty tone of the film and Letterier's commitment to grounded realism. Interestingly, when Abomination reappeared in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, his comic-accurate ears were finally restored, showing how the MCU eventually circled back to more faithful character designs after establishing its cinematic universe. Long before Steve Rogers made his grand entrance in Captain America, the first Avenger, a hidden Easter egg in The Incredible Hulk hinted at his existence. In a now-famous deleted scene, Bruce Banner travels to the Arctic to take his own life. In the snowy tundra, a frozen figure can briefly be seen embedded in the ice, intended to be the very first tease of Captain America. Director Louis Leterrier originally planned to use the scene to subtly introduce Steve Rogers before his proper debut, but Marvel Studios ultimately cut it for tone and pacing reasons. Still, this moment remains one of the MCU's earliest and most obscure connective threads. It also retroactively adds weight to the franchise's long-form storytelling, showcasing how Marvel had plans to interweave its iconic heroes from the very beginning. Director Louis Leterrier revealed that was setting up Hulk to be the villain of the Avengers. In an interview with MTV News, Leterrier stated that he left the ending of The Incredible Hulk intentionally ambiguous, as he felt Hulk being the reason the Avengers assembled would be a compelling continuation. This would also reflect the very first issue of the Avengers comic, in which Loki manipulates Hulk into being his pawn. Interestingly, this fact makes The Incredible Hulk's post-credits scene make way more sense. It seems illogical that Tony Stark would visit General Thaddeus Ross to recruit Hulk, as Ross has no control over him and is widely considered Hulk's greatest enemy. However, if Hulk were set up as a villain, Tony could instead be trying to recruit Abomination to help bring down the Hulk. While the plan changed as the Avengers storyline evolved, traces of this concept remained wherein Loki's plan to unleash the Hulk is revealed. One of the most emotional Bruce Banner moments in the MCU comes in The Avengers, when he quietly reveals he once put a bullet in his mouth, only for the other guy to spit it out. That heartbreaking confession references a deleted scene from The Incredible Hulk, which shows Bruce traveling to the Arctic to end his life. The moment is somber and visually haunting. He loads a gun but transforms into the Hulk before pulling the trigger. The scene was cut for pacing, but it was meant to emphasize Banner's internal struggle and despair. When referenced later in The Avengers, it gave a chilling glimpse into how dark Bruce's life had become before joining the team. The fact that this deleted moment became emotional canon years later reveals how carefully Marvel integrated even unused material into its broader narrative. Mark Ruffalo was initially hesitant to take over the role of Bruce Banner after Edward Norton's departure from the MCU. Replacing a major actor in an ongoing franchise is no small task, and Ruffalo was unsure whether audiences would accept him. However, Robert Downey Jr., the face of the MCU as Tony Stark, stepped in to encourage him. In a 2012 interview on The Tonight Show, Ruffalo explained word had got back to Robert Downey Jr., with whom he previously appeared in Zodiac with. According to Ruffalo, Downey called him in true Iron Man fashion and simply said, "Ruffalo, let's go. We got this." That phone call helped solidify Ruffalo's decision, boosting his confidence and making him feel welcomed into the Avengers family. As it turned out, the gamble paid off. Ruffalo's Banner quickly became a fan favorite and remains the longest-running version of the Hulk in live-action film history.